Sadly, we're going to have to talk about Doug Mastriano once again. Mastriano is the GOP nominee for governor in Pennsylvania. No, not Oklahoma or Alabama or one of the more radical states, but Pennsylvania, a lean blue swing state. Mastriano also attended January 6th with his compadres, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, other assorted Klan-like people, probably a couple space aliens, who knows. He was there, he was attempting to incite riot, overthrow our government, and he didn't enter the Capitol grounds, so he hasn't been arrested, even though he did a hell of a lot else to lead to the tragedy of that day. The January 6th committee has concluded led to 7 deaths, suicides and injuries, and people that have PTSD and can no longer serve and have lost their livelihoods. That's what Doug Mastriano was responsible for. But it gets worse, as it always does with the Republicans these days. He's also a raging anti-Semite. He has allied himself with Andrew Torba, who is the owner of Gab. If you know Gab, Gab is the place where, and I won't say the person's name, as I do not give mass murderers free publicity, the mass murderer who killed, I don't know how many, 12 at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, a mass shooting in Mastriano's own state, inspired by the social media platform Gab, owned by Andrew Torba. The guy who pulled off the shooting, the loser, radical, right-wing nut, incited to violence and white replacement theory and the rest by Donald Trump and by Gab and the rest. Again, he was posting there regularly. This should not shock you, because Andrew Torba himself is a raging anti-Semite. He's referred to the Judeo-Bolshevik conspiracy, which is something Hitler liked to use. Always nice to get Hitler's greatest hits and really pull them out. That generally shows you're a swell guy. Torba also hasn't been shy about making numerous other anti-Semitic statements. He actually came out and had positive things to say about the fact that Gab users offered, quote, differing perspectives on the Holocaust. Differing perspectives. Was 6 million enough? Should have been more? I'm not sure what the differing perspectives are. How to eliminate more people? How to be a complete racist piece of shit? How to commit mass murder, genocide? He's also called Jews subversive. He has shared anti-Semitic propaganda from those posting on his site. Jews controlling the media, the government, all the old good stuff. Killing Christ, too. Which, by the way, I'd like to just state for the record, I have an alibi. It was at least 5 miles away when that happened, and so they're not pinning it on me. What would you think you would do if you're Doug Mastriano, don't try to be him, but a normal human being, and you use this disgusting, sick, anti-Semitic, racist, traitorous platform that is Gab, that you use it still for some reason. It incited the Tree of Life. You know that these kinds of posts about the Holocaust, both sidesing the Holocaust and Jewish conspiracies, are shared constantly by Andrew Torba. What do you do if you're Doug Mastriano? I feel like I'm in the movie Speed. What do you do, sport? Sorry, if you ever saw that movie and you know what I'm talking about. Pop quiz, that's what he said, pop quiz. You've got a stick of dynamite, what do you do? Well, if you're Doug Mastriano, you hire this son of a bitch, Andrew Torba, as a consultant. That's correct. After all of the Holocaust denial or both sidesing, after all of the Jewish conspiracies and the quoting Hitler on Jews, and he's even come out and said that Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin, who are both Jewish, and Dave Rubin's Jewish and gay, kind of like Glenn Greenwald, Jewish and gay. It's funny how these guys always think that, when the music stops playing, that there will always be a chair there left for them, unlike what tends to happen, which is when all the rest of our chairs run out, they start getting to the Greenwalds and they start getting to the Shapiros, but whatever. Those guys are jackwads. But the point is they're Jewish, and already Torba has called them out for that and doesn't want them any part of his coalition. I mean, again, raging open anti-Semite. So Doug Mastriano hires this guy as a consultant. That's his response to all of this. His response isn't like to rebuke him. His response isn't, my God, that's disgusting. His response isn't, I want no part of this. You may remember, a former Republican senator from Pennsylvania, Arlen Specter. He was Jewish. I have a feeling he wouldn't have been so comfortable with this. other Republican senators. I mean, you may remember Senator, it is going a little further back, Hines, a moderate Republican. No, but this is what the Republican Party has become. I don't even think Pat Toomey would reject this. And Pat Toomey is an awful Republican with terrible policies who's only done a couple things right, supporting background checks and Trump's impeachment. Again, but this is what Mastriano is. He is an anti-Semite. He is a conspiracy theorist. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's a piece of animal dung. Okay, he is. If you remember that scene in Jurassic Park, you know, where Laura Dern had to sit there and go through an enormous pile of feces to figure out what was wrong with the Triceratops. Like, I think of Mastriano. He's that pile of feces. That's him. That's his only sort of existence on this earth. That's all. It's all he gives to us are flies and a really awful smell, and he needs to be cleaned up and thrown in the dustbin of history exactly like those feces. Know who this guy is and come out against him and make your voice known, but also Andrew Torba and Gab. Awful, awful platform that should be taken down.